Greetings, this is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. So make sure you focus on what is good. I always remind you of that because when you focus on what is good, you give power to something good to happen. So make sure you focus on what's good. You don't want to sit around just thinking negative. You know, negative thoughts bring about negative actions. So focus on what is good. If you're out there traveling about, make sure you wear your mask and use your hand sanitizer. We are still in the middle of a pandemic, sadly. So make sure that you do your part to stay safe and keep your family members safe. Sadly, this stuff has just been going on for too long. So also make sure you take your vitamin supplements, vitamin D, zinc, and C. Do that and just keep yourself healthy and keep yourself safe. If you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you so much for your support and your donations. Jaki Draper is here and we are going to discuss emotional abuse. Beware of the gaslighting person. Sadly, people do that. They gaslight others, they manipulate others, and they say things to provoke the next person. So we're going to talk about that and just give some insight to it. Hey, Jackie, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. As I was stating to you earlier, you know, I was moving kind of slow this evening, but I'm good. I'm good, you know. Sometimes you gotta, even when you don't feel like doing something, you gotta press into it. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's important to do that because when you are committed to something, if you really want it bad enough, if you really want to make it happen, you gotta press into it, even when you don't feel like it. So that's my position right now because I'm feeling a little tired, but I am okay. But our topic for this episode is emotional abuse. Beware of the gaslighting person. Wow, gaslighting. That's a deep thing, Jackie. And also, it's something new that people are discussing more these days. When you think of someone that gaslights another person, what comes to your mind?
Well, I see it you can see it in your workplace mostly and your relationships or dating relationships or romantic relationships. Yeah,
that's true.
I think that you can feel it a lot of times. I mean, we spend a lot of time at work.
We
spend a lot of time with people, and you can be working in a competitive atmosphere, and I think gaslighting goes on a lot in the workplace.
Yeah.
In corporate America, mostly, I would guess, but I don't know about other areas, but definitely in corporate America where it's competitive and
wow,
it can be a problem there.
Yeah.
And whenever you're in a situation like that, you're going to have people that are making you question yourself. You're confused or uncertain, you know.
Yeah.
And that can affect you in your workplace. And
yeah,
absolutely. I've seen it done with coworkers. I haven't had an issue at work, but I have seen it done with coworkers.
Yeah, and that's sad, you know. You know, when I think about gaslighting, I think about manipulation, a person that denies facts and they make like you said, the other person question themselves, doubt themselves, and they even can make another person doubt their own reality. That is just really crazy. And it all stems from manipulation, which is a type of control. You know, normally it's a narcissistic person that has that type of personality, and they just want the focus to be on them. And I just think it's emotional abuse. And the reason why I call it emotional abuse in that order is because when somebody constantly gaslights another person, in my opinion, I think they are trying to tear that person down. What do you think, Jackie?
Well, I don't think that it's always a narcissist. I think the word narcissist is thrown around a lot. I
True.
think the majority of the time that this is going on in relationships, it is because one of the people feels inferior to the other one. They may feel less than, they may feel like the other person could do better than them, so they need to make them lower their self-esteem so they don't go anywhere.
I agree with that. I agree totally with that. But I believe that a person has a narcissistic personality connected to that because the narcissist normally wants to be the one to look good. So if they can demean that other person in some type of way and make that other person think they're less than by demeaning them and putting themselves in a position to look good, it takes a type of prideful, haughty, narcissistic personality to do that. And I say that also because of a personal experience I went through, and at the time I couldn't identify with what it was, but now I understand it completely. But I do agree with you. I think that that person would gaslight someone in that type of way. But tell me about the workplace gaslighting, because I think that part is really interesting. I normally hear it from a romantic point of view, but I want to hear about the corporate thing.
Well, in my experience where I was working for a while, there was a situation that the person that was my friend was the person being gaslighted at work by a peer. And they both were very intelligent, very capable of their jobs and more, and of promotion. And oddly enough, the person that was doing the gaslighting was actually higher up as position-wise. But he, and I can't speak to why he behaved this way,
right?
But he would target this woman, and it was
wow.
It was very obvious whenever, because he would do things privately, say things to her, and she sat near me, so I could hear it. Plus, we were friends, so she would tell me the things I didn't hear, what was going on.
Right.
But then publicly be a different person.
Right.
And pretend that he's this fun guy that's with everybody, and be supportive of her in public, and then in private also, stab her in the back.
Wow, that's so sad.
It was, yeah.
Wow.
And I would hear from the people that were over us. They would tell me, oh, well, so-and-so said this situation is going on with so-and-so, and you sit over there and you're friends with her, and what's going on? I'm like,
yeah.
So the things he was saying, I got to hear it from another person's point of view, and it was just very interesting that you would see a situation like that. But I'm sure it happens all the time, especially in a competitive, with people that are peers, trying to get the same position and stuff, vying for the same promotions, the same customers, the same clients.
Yeah, yeah. I think a person that gaslight other people, I think they have deep-rooted issues of fear also. I think that...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think they have deep-rooted issues of fear, and they prey on others when they see that another person...
Inferiority. I think they feel deep down that they are inferior, and they don't want anyone else to find them out that they are inferior. So they make others look inferior, or they make others feel inferior, so they will have the perception of being superior.
Right, and they project their issues to others. They have a false image, which is also connected to narcissism, and they project their issues to others to hide behind something that they're not. They put out this image that they are something else, but behind all of that mess they put out in the front, where they're hiding, they're not. They're small as heck, meaning they don't have any confidence. They don't have what they display, so to speak. But yes, fear is one of the root causes of that. But for the person that, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they project to the public that they're a high performer when in fact they are not.
Exactly. And for the person that is being emotionally abused by someone like that, that person has to simply just be confident and take back their confidence. And the reason why, like I said, I connected to emotional abuse, because there are people in marriages, relationships, family relationships, mother, daughter, father, son. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is. It can happen on any level to anybody. And so gaslighting the next person, provoking them to be something that they're not. In other words, the person just keep dagging at them and dagging at them and dagging at them. And next thing you know, the person just blows up, right? Because that person, the gaslighter, is just trying to make that person something that they're not. You know, if somebody keep plucking you over and over and over and over and over again, eventually you're going to blow up, because the first time they pluck you, you don't say anything. You just kind of suck it up and you move on. Then the second time they pluck you, you get upset a little bit, but you don't show it. And then you just keep doing it because you keep hiding what you really feel, that person that's being plucked. And then all of a sudden the gaslighter just keeps doing it. And then all of a sudden that person just blows up. And then the gaslighter says, oh, look at you, look at you. And then they try to act like they didn't do anything at all after they plucked you.
To provoke the behavior, right?
Exactly. So it's manipulation, because the gaslighter wants that person to look bad. They want everybody else to look bad, and they want to be exalted. They want to look like they are the perfect person. They are together, but in actuality, they are the person that is filled with issues. They're filled with deep-rooted, terrible, toxic issues. And I'm telling you right now, listeners, if you're connected to somebody like that, I would say just get rid of them altogether. If you have a family member that's acting that way, I would just keep a distance. And I say that because I know some people, without me naming any names, in my family that have that type of attitude. And when I see it, I just keep a distance, because I don't think a person can actually know what they're doing until God literally shows it to them. Sometimes, I think that some people just constantly do things and they give themselves a pass and say, oh, this is just who I am. No, it's not. Because if you are going around hurting people and provoking them to anger and provoking them to their lesser self and not their greater self, something is wrong with that person that's doing that. We're not supposed to provoke people to anger and stress and the things that bring out the worst. We're not supposed to do that. But when a person does that, it just shows that they themselves have deep-rooted issues. What do you think about that, Jackie?
Well, I also think that this type of behavior, especially in a parent-child situation, and in a romantic situation, it's a lot of times it's not that they push the other person to explode, but they more push the other person into a hopeless, weak, emotional numbness and a despair state, to where they're the depression, where they're malleable.
Exactly.
This person will do whatever I want. They don't fight back.
No.
They don't argue back. They just live with it and go on with it. And I think that is more dangerous, because the person who can be pushed to a certain limit and then fights back is going to leave the situation. The person who is going to succumb to it is a person who's going to have long-term effects.
Yeah.
They're going to become emotionally numb. They're going to have PTSD, frankly.
Yeah.
From this relationship.
Yeah,
they'll have long-term trust issues. They lead to substance abuse and sleeping disorders. Those type of relationships where the person is pushed down.
Yes.
are going to be the more long-term effects of the emotional abuse.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely correct, and I agree. The anxiety of it all can literally do so much damage to a person, because once the gaslighter puts them in a corner mentally, that person definitely will feel hopeless. But the person that is experiencing the emotional abuse from a gaslighter, that person doesn't have to remain in that situation, and that person does not have to remain damaged. The flip side of it is, like I said, the one that has been abused can take their confidence back. They can limit that person from their life. They can do self-care, pray, and self-affirmations to recover and, stay on the path of healing and be around people that love you and people that support you. You don't have to tolerate someone that wants to provoke the worst part of you. You don't want that. You want to be around people that love you, people that celebrate you, people that support you, people that validate who you are, your family members, your friends, your siblings, people that speak life to you, not somebody that criticizes everything you do, somebody that puts you down and they look to find fault in everything you do. You want to be connected to people that truly love you. When I say love you, I'm not talking about perfect relationships. I'm talking about people that speak life to you. You don't want to be connected to people that are toxic, because being connected to a toxic person means that there's something toxic in you. That's real, Jackie. I sincerely believe that, because some people say, oh, I'm healed and I'm working on myself. Yes, we're all working on ourselves. But guess what? If you're connected to someone that is gaslighting you constantly, somebody that is emotionally abusing you to the point where you are questioning your own sanity, you're questioning your own heart, your own mind about who you are, guess what? It's time to get rid of that person. Because we're not supposed to lose ourselves to keep someone else. I don't believe in that mess. I don't believe in that. I think that we have to love ourselves and do the work on ourselves and project what is good and do the self-care so that we can become an asset to someone else. It's horrible, Jackie. I've been through something. Well, yeah. I dealt with a gaslighter. I can honestly say I dealt with a gaslighter. When I think about that, many years ago, I was in a relationship, and this person would say certain things to me just to get a reaction, right? And then when they would, when they would get a reaction, it was almost like, when I looked at this individual's face, it was almost like they were satisfied. Now, the reaction they got was not a blow up reaction, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm very laid back. But what would happen is they would say something to get a reaction. And so I would probably, make a certain facial expression or something like that. And so as time went by and I saw that their intentions was to get a reaction, that's when I realized this is a gaslighter.
Yeah.
Now, this was years ago, more than, this is a while ago. So when I realized this person had that narcissism that I'm talking about, they had that, I want to be the one that's looked at as good and well together. And as long as I can try to squash your light, I can sit up on the throne, so to speak, not that they squash my light, because ain't nobody squashing my light. But,
they picked the wrong woman.
Huh? They picked
the wrong woman to try to do that too.
Yes, they picked the wrong woman. But see, you know what? I didn't see it. I didn't see the signs until a little later. Like in the beginning, it was all like, oh, everything's fine. But then all of a sudden, when I start seeing the signs, I said, wait a minute. What in the world? And so when I recognized that, I said, wow, okay, this is who this individual is. And so that being said, I said, okay, When it comes to that, you have to love yourself, and you have to stand on being confident. Being confident, how you perceive yourself, knowing who you are. You have to be absolutely confident, because there's a woman out there right now, Jackie. I'm telling you, there's somebody out there right now that is going through a emotional abuse relationship, emotional abusive relationship, and they're dealing with somebody that's gaslighting them. And I'm telling you, you don't have to stay there. You know, I also know a man that has gone through something like that, because when it happens to a man, oh boy, that's a whole nother lane, Jackie. That's a whole nother lane, because to see a man's self-esteem shattered and his confidence shattered, that's not a good sight. But when I saw this man going through that, all I could say to him was to get rid of the person and work on himself. And he did. And I told him also he had to change his thought process. He had to work on himself every single day to stay on the path of healing. Because I think that a lot of times people, they start something, with themselves. They start working on themselves and they think, oh, well, this is over with. I don't have to keep working on this area. No, we should work on ourselves every single day for the rest of our life. We're supposed to do that. That's my belief. I don't think you find something in your life to work on and then you just say, okay, well, I'm past that now. I don't have to work on that anymore. You do have to work on it, because what if it comes creeping up? What if that thing from when you were 10 years old just comes creeping up in your mind? What are you going to do? Just sit there and bask on it? So you do have to continue to do the work in that area to stay free from it mentally and emotionally and spiritually. What do you think about that, Jackie? You think people should consistently do the work, or you think people should just get to a point and say, oh, well, I'm done in that area? Because some people do that.
Oh, no, I'm definitely an advocate for constant work on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what we're here for.
Yes.
The whole reason we're alive.
Absolutely.
Is to constantly work on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, definitely. Got to work on yourself constantly. Muhammad Ali has a quote that he says, if a man thinks the same at 50 as he did at 25, he just wasted 25 years of his life.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And, you got to constantly be growing and learning and changing the things you don't like. And
yes, we will never arrive.
Absolutely.
In this flesh.
I think that, I think it's hard for people. I mean, I'm saying this as an outsider because I'm not.
Right.
I don't think that emotionally abusive people, but narcissist people would be attracted to me because I have a bold personality. So I don't have, my mom was very controlling, but other than my mother, my other personal relationships, I don't have that type of experience. But I would imagine just what I've seen with other people that it's hard to leave it. You become codependent almost on this. You fall into this dependency for this relationship.
Right.
And these controlling people do that. That's their goal, is to have this person dependent on them where they can they can control the situations. They can have them do whatever it is they need them to do.
Yeah.
Whatever situation. And when you're those type of people that are in that situation, maybe in the workplace, they're a rock star, but then they walk in the door at home and they're this little mousy person that works at the whim of their partner. And it's hard to walk away from that. The people that I've seen in marriages and relationships where they lived with someone like that, it's hard for them to walk away because they don't believe anyone else will love them. They feel inferior and they feel no one else is going to love me, and that they need to stay here for that reason. Yeah. Or and hopefully not a lot of people in the situation where it's physically abusive, but the emotionally abusive. Yeah. You just gotta make sure you have a good support system as far as friends are concerned, family members that you can lean on, and you need to listen to podcasts and whatever it is that takes to build your self-confidence to know that you are capable of walking away from this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And your value is far more than just being loved by someone that's manipulating you.
Exactly. I think a lot of times people just don't know their self-worth, and that's why they settle for those type of relationships. With me personally, I think that years ago, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And some people just see me as, oh, well, she's a nice person. She's not going to say nothing. So some people try me, Jackie. Some people try me, they can, look at me on the outside and say, oh, well, she's low key because, she's quiet because, I used to be really shy. I was one of those people that I wouldn't say nothing. I was always just quiet, and until I learned how to do the public speaking thing. But I think some people in the past, that is, not now, people, they have tried me. And so because they have, try to test their waters a little bit, try to see how far they can get with me. And then that's, like I said, with that individual that I mentioned, that's how I was able to recognize that. But I think that I had to go through that in order to actually see it, because I had never seen anything like that before. I had never experienced that in a personal relationship like that. So, I had to see that up close. And when I did, wow, I got a chalkboard of lessons to talk about concerning that. But I just think that some people just don't know their self-worth. They don't love themselves, and they, like you said, they don't have that value in themselves. Because when you love yourself and you understand your self-worth and you have great value in who you are, like Oprah Winfrey said, teach people how to treat you. And when people show you who they are, believe them. She said, if you don't believe them the first time, you will suffer. So when people show you who they are, believe them. Don't give them no second chance and say, oh, well, maybe they just didn't know no better the first time. No. You only can disrespect me one time, and that's it. That's it. There is no maybe, no. If we're not connected by blood where I have to work through an issue with you, guess what? I'm not going to have anything to do with that person, because I love myself enough to know that I deserve the same respect that I give others. So, but that's pretty deep, Jackie. Sadly, a lot of people are dealing with toxic relationships thinking that, oh, well, this is the best I can do. And guess what? You can have better if you want better. If you believe you can have better, not want, believe. But go ahead, Jackie. What were you going to say?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe that you deserve better, and do the work to get out of it.
That's right. Do the work to get out of it. Because when you do the work to get out of it, you have to love yourself first and foremost, and then realize how valuable you are. I think that when I was a child growing up and I saw how my parents functioned, my mom was such a warrior, She would tell my dad, no, this is not what's going, this is, no, buddy, you can't do this, buddy, you can't do that. She would say that to him. And my dad was, he was somewhat controlling. I can honestly say that. He was controlling. But my mom stood up to him and she was just like, no, mm-mm. And so she corrected him. And when she corrected him, she, hey, he had to respect it. And so women, we have to stand up respectfully, and men, do the work as well. We all have to do the work. There isn't no one side to this thing. Jackie, I was talking about men on social media earlier this week, and so many people kept talking to me about what I was saying. And I wasn't just talking about men per se. I was just saying that men have the place of leadership and influence. I was saying, Jackie, that a man shouldn't marry if he has an unhealthy spirit. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did.
Yeah, and people just came at me like, what?
Well, I don't think anyone should get married if they have an unhealthy spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But as much as people would like to say today that there is no difference between men and women, there's vast difference between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, strong women get a bad rap that they want to be controlling. And as a strong woman, I can tell you, I don't want to be controlling.
No.
But I don't want no weak ass man either.
No. A strong woman is simply one that takes care of her home, takes care of her finances, takes care of her life financially on all levels, spiritually. That's a strong woman. A strong woman is one that believes she can have a partner, but is not so needy she can't be without one. That's a strong woman.
Exactly. Yes.
You know,
you don't need a man, but you want one, but you don't need him.
That's right.
So if it ain't going to work, it ain't going to work. Move on. That's
right. You know, people get it twisted, you know, because your strength is being seen on your shoulder. If your strength is being seen on your shoulder as a woman, you know what that means? It means you know how to pray. It means you know how to seek God. It means you know how to stand up on 2 feet and make it happen. That's what that means. Because, you know, if a man wants a weak woman, then he's weak too. That's all I got to say about that. Because we're not going to keep talking about that.
I agree.
Because our topic is emotional abuse. Beware of the gaslighting person. And the reason why we're talking about this is because all of us have experienced something from a relative, co-worker, a romantic relationship where somebody was a manipulating person, a person that was deceptive, and they were, had a narcissistic personality maybe, and they just provoked you to anger, and they tried to make you look bad, or they did something that was toxic. You know, all of us have experienced it on different levels because there's levels to it. It's levels to it. And so I think that this term gaslighting, it was not something that was used a whole lot many, many years ago. And so now that we call it gaslighting, we can identify what the behavioral traits are, because I'm sure a lot of people have experienced something from a manipulator, somebody that's a deceiver, somebody that tried to provoke you to be something that you're not, and then turned around and said, what's wrong with you? You know, so, but you have anything else you want to share, Jackie?
No, I think we did good.
No. Lastly, I want to say, by all means, make sure all of us, men and women, walk in your confidence. Know who you are. Maintain a prayer life. Your prayer life is for you to be filled with something good from God to give to someone else. So make sure you have a prayer life and stay on the path of healing and practice self-care more consistently. And lastly, surround yourself with the people that love you and support you. Because when you surround yourself with the people that love you and support you, you will only just be a better person versus being around someone that is a gaslighter and someone that is toxic. We all have to do the work. None of us will be 100% perfect while we're in this flesh, but we can believe and work towards having a better life filled with joy, love, peace, and harmony. And when we do the work on ourselves, and when we work on our relationships, we can have all of those things. But if we don't do the work, that means we are settling for less, and you don't want to do that. So listeners, I thank you so much for taking the time to listen and tune in to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. I was a little tired tonight. I didn't know if I was going to make it, Jackie. But I made it. And so, listeners, thank you so much. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SBFavor. I also have a TikTok handle at SBFavor. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please click like, leave me some feedback, and make sure you click the bell when you subscribe so that you can receive a notification each time there is a new episode of SB Favor Thinking Podcast. And once again, I want to remind you, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you so much, listeners, for your support, your constant support, and all that you do for this podcast. We have great content, more inspirational content coming up. And just continue to stay tuned and make sure you share the podcast with others. Thank you, Jackie, once again. And listeners, talk to you soon. You have a good day.